Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. It is Sunday night, and that means we are here together. We've had a little stutter start here with the sound. I don't know what the soundboard is doing to me. I can't figure it out. We're working with a backup system. I appreciate your patience. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, perhaps some things that we've not really talked about in the past. One of the major things that I want you to understand right now is that this week YouTube shut down the Bible Forum YouTube channel. I don't know exactly what day that happened. I noticed it either Tuesday or Wednesday when I went on to my television set, went to YouTube, and it said, "You got nothing here." And I thought they were having technical difficulties, and I checked back the next day and the next day, and it was always the same. So I started looking around, and sometime on Friday or Saturday, I've forgotten now which, probably Friday, I got an email that said, "We've shut you down for a week because of complaints. You violated our standards and so forth and so on." In looking at it, what happened was somebody complained about something that I said. They gave me the link to the video, and the video was from June 12th, 2016. It was a 12-minute diatribe, I guess, relative to the homosexual issue that was raging at the time. I don't know exactly what stimulated it, but I listened to it. I recorded it for posterity, because I didn't say anything wrong. I said what the Bible said about it. I said what normal, everyday people think about it, and at the same time pointed out that the Christians' response to homosexuals and to all folks who are overtly living lives of sinful nature is to love them and to reach out to them and to be patient with them. They don't know what they're doing. I wrote them a nice little note because I get to react to those things, and I told them that. I said only one person clicked saying that they didn't agree or didn't like it. Everybody else liked it, and I was absolutely doing what you wanted me to do. So I don't know where that's going to go. That was about the time when the channel came back up again. And what I did was to delete the link between my television set and the Bible Forum YouTube page. I set it up with my personal YouTube page so that we don't have that anymore. And I deleted all the Bible Forum videos from the personal page. There was only about 10 or 12 because that's what I started doing and realized that's not the thing to do. Anyway, that was the week that was. Things are happening all over the place. There was something I wanted to share with you I just learned today, and this under the heading of a prayer request for the folks in Puerto Rico. They have apparently experienced 139 earthquakes just since the 1st of December. Can you imagine such a thing? Earthquakes of a magnitude of 3 or better. They're probably sitting themselves on a fault, a major fault, somewhere around there. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad we've got this thing ready to go. We've got a lot of things I want to share with you tonight. Starting late as we were, we'll run a little bit later, perhaps. It was about 10 or 15 minutes early last week. Maybe that'll compensate for the whole thing. There's some news in the airwaves this week. It's being called Trump's war. Are you paying attention? These are the things that are happening in Iran. It seems our president has won the tit-for-tat battle this week against Iran. They kill one of our people, a civilian. We kill one of their key military planners, executioners. They fire off 15 rockets, only 10 of which hit any kind of a target. and they end up bombing our empty barracks buildings, having told us 4 or 5 hours ahead of time they were going to do it. Everybody gets to claim victory, and the skirmish is over. Or is it? The biggest news initially was how people responded to the president's speech comments regarding this event. The left is still in a tizzy because our president claimed victory, touting our military advantages over that of Iran or any nation for that matter. Enlightened America, dare I say Christian America, is not supposed to do this sort of thing. Republican Senator Mike Lee and Rand Paul and others were outraged at the briefing they received relative to Iraq's bombing, saying, quote, "The messages we received from the briefers was do not debate, do not discuss the issue of the appropriateness of further military intervention against Iran. And if you do, you will be emboldening Iran." The implication being that we would somehow be making America less safe by having a debate or a discussion about the appropriateness of further military involvement against the government of Iran. This reported from theblaze.com. Of course, this is the issue many people have a problem with. The United States just doesn't do this sort of thing. They don't go around assassinating the chief operatives of an enemy nation. Why? Probably because they're worried other nations will do the same thing to them. And they have a point. What they don't seem to realize is there are a number of bad actors in the world who want America gone. Russia comes to mind. China, Iraq, the various Arab groups, nations in the Middle East. And that doesn't count the majority of Democrat candidates for president this cycle and all these little subgroups demonstrating against our values, against our heritage, against our reason for being. Amongst the whole fallout, speaking to CNN on Thursday, was Representative Jackie Spear from California. She's a Democrat. She said that if it's true that Iran's air defense system shot down the civilian airline, then it is, quote, another example of collateral damage, end of quote, from Trump's actions. It's his fault. Later, many other lawmakers and some news commentators said the president is still responsible indirectly. In Iran, the terrorist leader is dead. The Iranians take to the streets to mourn his death, or so it seems. On the news, we see massive crowds ranging the city streets, mourning the death of this hero. Kenneth Timmerman, New York Times best-selling author and investigative journalist, said this week, reporting for NBC News, quote, "We always knew that the regime is capable of mustering a crowd, but these are rent-a-mobs. In many cases, they pay these people to come and to show off. They let them get off work. They oblige government employees to attend these mass rallies and chant death to America. And many times, when the cameras pan out, there's nobody in the adjacent square." Earlier this week, Amnesty International reported that more than 200 people had been killed in demonstrations, that coming from NBCnews.com. Over the assassination of a hero of the resistance? Not entirely. The demonstrations began after authorities raised minimum gasoline prices to 15,000 Iranian rials per liter, an equivalent to about 50 cents a gallon. 15,000 rials. Their rials is like our dollars. 50,000 of them are worth 50 cents. After a monthly 60-liter quota, it costs 30,000 rials a liter. That's nearly 90 cents a gallon American. An average gallon of regular gas in our country costs about $2.58 by comparison, according to the AAA. In a sane world, the Iranian rial would be equivalent to the American dollar. Generally, life is not a bed of roses in Muslim cultures. no matter where it might be. And we see the military side, but there's a civilian side as well, which is often desperate and dangerous. Our president and his administration appear to be set on making Iran even more unstable, something most people would find horrendous. We want peace, not war. All right, go tell the Arabs, the Persians, the Chinese, the Russians, the communists, the anarchists, the social warriors. Get these people to calm down and live with their countrymen in peace and tranquility, and we'll only have the natural dangers to deal with. However, as long as there have been people on this planet, that has never happened, and it will not until Jesus comes. It's called sin, a sin nature, the desire for self. This is the spiritual battle between the forces of good, meaning God in heaven, and evil, meaning Satan and his minions upon earth. And there's no one standing in the middle. The Bible tells us how all this is going to end, something we'll look at a little bit later in the program. For now, we're paying attention to what's happening in the world and watching our own citizens doing all they can to destabilize it. It's a fascinating turn of events, and it all points to one thing: a crescendo when Jesus comes. We're going to be talking a little bit more about this kind of stuff. In the next segment, I want to talk to you about the first binary person. Stay tuned.